is actually one of the primary leaders within this organization from the moment that I began, and well before that. He was the first person that I heard speak as DFW NORML. He was the executive director at the time in 2011. And in 5-10 minutes of him talking at this park, at some park, I can't even think of the name, in Arlington. Veterans Park in Arlington. How many people have been to Veterans Park in Arlington? DFW NORML had events there, okay? And that was the scene of my very first one. And this man, he spoke about the need for Texans to get some skin in the game and to get involved right now in a meaningful way. And over the time that I've gotten to know this man, he has been a mentor to me, he's been a friend to me, and he's been somebody who I have just sought endless amounts of advice from, and probably will continue to do so as long as he can stand me. This is a man that I have tremendous amount of respect for. You should too. He has served this country for over 20 years. Please put your hands together for Mr. Larry Talley.
Hey, how's everybody out here? How you guys doing today? My name's Larry Talley. I'm retired from the United States Navy. And first and foremost, thank you all for coming out. This makes a difference. When Elizabeth was just talking about forming the organization in 2005, I think I went to my first meeting in 2007 on Hemphill Street. There was just a couple of us that were there. And this is what we've grown to. When we have frequent outings like this and we have all these people show up, and what this demonstrates the aggregate. People are starting to not be afraid to come out and talk about this. It's important that you not be afraid to talk about this. I served our country for more than 20 years so that you have your First Amendment right. So that you have the right to speech. All right, and I'm also a patient. And I'm standing up here and I'm talking to you, and I know I'm being recorded, and I know that this is going to end up on the internet. So I'm not afraid. You shouldn't be afraid either. This is America. This isn't Russia. But the problem is that we are in a drug war. War against marijuana. You know, the funny thing is they call it a war, but marijuana doesn't shoot back, and most people that smoke it don't shoot. Right? It makes us pretty peaceful. As a result of this prohibition of marijuana, there's not less of it now, there's more. Right? It's because it's given control to street gangs and cartels. There's a lot of tax money that's being taken away from our government because, well, it's not being taxed. It's illegal. Now, there's a lot of people that need marijuana to live. All right? There's a lot of people that have diseases that we're just learning about some of these diseases. I have Crohn's disease. I served 21 years in the military, and it didn't begin to present itself until as I was on my way out. I kept going back to doctors while I was in the military and saying, my gut hurts and I'm dropping weight. Can you help me? And I ended up with a letter of reprimand and sitting in front of a psychologist because they couldn't figure out what the hell was wrong with me. I retired. I left. I left a little bit earlier than I wanted to, and then I started shopping for doctors. This is really the story. I normally don't tell this story. So I shopped for doctors for a really long time. 2 years. You know, I retired in 2007. It took me 2 years to find a doctor that said, holy shit, you're sick. You've got Crohn's disease. It hasn't been treated. I was down to about 105 pounds. So we started drugs. He gave me this drug. He gave me that drug. We tried everything. I made friends with people on Crohn's forums. I started hooking up with support groups. I met this really nice lady named Michelle Ramey. She lived in Canada, and she was part of what's now known as the BC4. She was a really nice lady who had Crohn's and told me flat out cannabis is the only thing that's really going to probably work for you. Have you tried it? You know, and we started going down that route, and I got to tell you, it put me in remission almost right away. You're talking to a guy who was a Republican. I don't know what I am anymore, but I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat.
American.
I'm an American. Right? I like that. They put it in remission. It worked. Michelle Ramey's no longer with us. She died of cancer caused by the drugs, the same drugs that I took. So she was on those drugs for a really long time before she found cannabis. And unfortunately, those drugs, those pharmaceuticals that she took, killed her. So it wasn't the Crohn's disease that she died from, it was the pharmaceuticals, and damn it, that's exactly what I'm afraid of too. I smoke pot because I like it a lot, because it helps me to live every day. It helps me to get up and face the world. Without it, I wouldn't be here today. I had a letter from my doctor that would explain it in pretty good detail how it works. My Texas doctor recommends that I use marijuana because nothing else works. So, I want to fight for your rights. I want to talk to your representative. I want to tell them my story. And I've talked to a lot of representatives. And most of them will sit there and they'll grin and they'll listen to you and they'll shake your hand and they'll make you feel good about the meeting. You got to go back because you don't know how they're going to go. Until they tell you they're going to author a bill, until they tell you they're going to support a bill, you have to keep going back. This is how it gets changed. Everybody that's standing in here today, Sean was right. If every single one of you went and had a conversation or a series of conversations with your representative, get to know them by their first name. Oh, it's Jerry again. You know, get to know them and tell them your story, why you need it. Because right now in Texas, if I were to be arrested and thrown in jail for possession of marijuana for a long period of time, I would die. Is that fair?
Hell no!
And is it fair that Alexis can't have her medicine either? Is it fair that other people, we have the DFW lupus group is out here today too. Right? Thank you all, you guys, for coming. And cannabis does wonderful things for people with lupus. So there's a lot to it. And I just want to say thank you guys. I hope you walk away and go have a conversation with your representative and enjoy this afternoon. You know, just remember, if you're just out here and you don't smoke, just remember, you don't have to use to admit that we need to have a very serious conversation and change in our public policy. Because what we're doing isn't working. It's creating all kinds of societal problems. There's not less marijuana, there's more. There's not less crime, there's more. Respect for law has not increased, it's diminished. Texas is losing out on taxes. There was an article the other day in the paper that said that if they counted all the tax money there in Colorado that they've collected, every citizen's going to get a check back for $7, right? Because they've made so much money on marijuana. Texas could make over $166 million a year on marijuana in taxes alone first year. That's money that we can put toward education and rehab programs for people with real drug problems. We can make a change in this state, but it starts with you having a conversation with your representative, influencing your community, and then influencing your state. And I served for 20 years, and so did other people that are standing out here in the audience, serve their country so that you have that right. God bless you guys for coming out. I hope you talk to you. Thank you very much.